Weeks after Hurricane Helene left a path of destruction, the American Red Cross is working around the clock to support Helene survivors while also preparing for Hurricane Milton.
And because of this, the Red Cross Kentucky region is issuing an appeal for volunteers who can travel this fall to help with disaster relief. WKYT's Mariah Conjito has more on how you can become a Red Cross hero. It's our top story at 5:30.
You don't have to be anything more than a caring heart that wants to show compassion to people.
The American Red Cross says there are more than 2,000 volunteers, nearly 36 from Kentucky, who are providing shelter, food, water, and support to devastated Helene survivors.
All of these folks that are out there are sacrificing their time, their comfort.
Nikki Soliday, the Red Cross Kentucky Region Disaster Officer, says there are already more than 500 volunteers on the ground in Florida. By 10 o'clock tonight, she says about 400 more will arrive.
They're going from sleeping in their comfy little bed to some of them are in sleeping bags on the floor, eating shelf-stable meals right alongside the folks in the community that have been impacted. And they do it gladly.
Soliday says she's gone on more than 30 deployments with the Red Cross and knows firsthand the impact volunteers have.
Just imagine you are the ones standing, staring into the void of what used to be your home, what used to be your life, what used to be your job, and you're all alone in that space. Imagine what that might feel like. Now take that moment to imagine someone comes alongside you and they put their arm around you and they say, I'm here and I'm with you.
As Milton extends relief efforts already on the ground, Soliday says they need more volunteers. So they're offering virtual Heroes Needed training over the next few weeks.
Right now, kind of the big needs for volunteers are both in that sheltering space and then in supporting some of the logistics pieces that we have.
Soliday says they can have someone ready to deploy in just a few days. They ask for a 2-week commitment when deployed. The Red Cross provides transportation, lodging, and meals.
If not you, then who?
If you don't want to leave home, Soliday says volunteers are needed in the Commonwealth as well. Mariah Conjito, WKYT.
And if you or someone you know might be interested, you're urged to sign up for training today. We do have a link to sign up in the story inside the WKYT News app. And